Hello, my friends. I'm just really excited right now. I am We're counting down the hours to the release of look, boom. Now, actually, this is interesting that I've got this painting right here. I didn't even do this on purpose. I kind of set up haphazardly. This is in my home studio. Uh, this is the title. This is the front cover of the book. This is actually what the book front cover was going to be. So I don't know. What do you think? I like both, and I actually had an artist create this. Like this is pre AI. I guess AI technically existed, but but now with AI you can just go onto a program and then just describe. I would like something where it's da 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 da. So this was old fashioned AI. This is not artificial intelligence. This is artistic intelligence. AI, get it? AI. This was an amazing painter and artist, Sarah Wolf. She also did these for me as well. And I went over to her place and basically I sat there for a half hour and I tried to describe what my philosophy of breath work is, the language of breath. And that's what's in this book. Look at this. Look at this. It it really is kind of incredible. And as a former English professor, I'm really happy to announce that there is a glossary. There is a glossary in this book. So, so anyway, this today I'm just going to hang out with you guys. If you have questions, if you have comments, if you want to talk about anything, I'm going to be here for the next 30 minutes, 45 minutes. And I also want to tell you why you should never teach your son Stoicism or daughter. I've got a story to you and to tell you about my son. Anyway, but hey, Language of Breath, it's on bookshelves tomorrow. So if you are on social media and you happen to be in a costume for Halloween, I would love it if you posted your costume with my book. It would be really cool. I've already gotten one that he said he's going to post it tomorrow, but he showed me the picture and it's like a Freddy mask and he's reading the book. So I think that's pretty cool. So have you had a chance to order your copy yet? Now, here's the thing. I do promise you this thing. I will promise you that it is not just another book about breath work, because I know what you're thinking. If you're already a fan of this channel, you might have read my first breath work book, A Practical Guide to Breath Work, which let's see, I'm looking over here is my bookshelf. I don't think I have a copy on my bookshelf. It's in my other room. Anyway, the point is A Practical Guide to Breath Work. And some of you guys might be wondering what's the difference. So let's cover this. Let's cover this. Cheers. I've got peach tea, which is quite delicious. All right. So in my first book, A Practical Guide to Breath Work, the reason I wrote that book is because that book at the time did not exist. There was no book out there that I felt that properly conveyed kind of like the variety of breath work that existed. So in A Practical Guide to Breath Work, I talk about how I discovered how breath work works and kind of how some of the foundations of breath work works. I described what I call the modern human condition, which I do reference. I reference it in this book, but I don't harp on it quite as much in this one. I actually go way deeper in this one when it comes to conscious and unconscious. But basically, what I talk about in my first book is like, okay, here are a bunch of techniques, and here's how to put techniques together, and here's basically how to test if this technique works for you. What I do in the Language of Breath is I go a lot deeper, and it's really, my publisher asked, who is the audience? Who's the target audience for the Language of Breath? And I've got to say, it's probably people who have already gotten into breath work before. They're not novices. Now, if you've never done breath work, it's a great place to start. But it's especially written for people who have been in breath work for a while. They've tried this technique, this method, that thing, and they want to take it a lot deeper, and they want to understand themselves in a completely different way. So in the first two chapters, I kind of mess you up. I don't mess you up in a bad way. In the first two chapters of the book, I try to dismantle the mind-body paradigm. And I feel like I did a pretty good job. So you'll have to tell me what you think. But anyway, the book is on sale tomorrow. You can order it right now for pre-order, but it is on sale on bookshelves. in all places where fine books are sold. And that's starting tomorrow, October 31st. So take a picture of yourself in your best Halloween costume. I would love to see maybe a breathwork themed Halloween costume. I don't know, but I'll take it. I'll take anything, especially if it's like, if you're dressed up as Macho Man Randy Savage, that would be probably the best. Either that or Hulk Hogan. So if it's Hulk Hogan or Macho Man Randy Savage with my book, that I think I could just die and happily if I saw someone if I saw someone do that. So anyway, that comes out tomorrow, and I'm just super excited. Tomorrow we're going to be doing some special things to celebrate. So if you are in the Patreon club, you already have your invitation to our breathwork session. We're going to do a very special breathwork session tomorrow afternoon, Eastern time. And for those of you guys across the pond, it's already evening. And for some of you guys, it's still, morning if you're on the West Coast right now. But basically, it's going to be in the afternoon, East Coast time, about 2:00. And we're going to do some breath work. And that's also open for everybody. So even if you're not in the Patreon club, you can join in. So just go to, because I posted it as a free thing, and I'll put it on the YouTube thing as well. But it is on Patreon. If you go to patreon.com/Midwestern Method, you'll find the Patreon club, and I've got it as a free post so everybody can see it, and it's on Zoom. So we'll be together doing some Zoom. So I want to talk a little bit about teaching our kids Stoicism. And if you are a fan of philosophy, and you know that I'm a fan of Western philosophy, you're going to see a lot more episodes where I discuss Western philosophy. My last episode was discussing Socrates and how he challenged us to see that most of the time we are deceiving ourselves. It's very easy to deceive ourselves. There's actually an academic paper that was published back when I was in grad school. So I was in grad school around 2009 through 2011. I graduated in 2011, I think, with my master's. And there was this academic paper that came out called On Bullshit. And it was just all the ways we bullshit ourselves. And I think Socrates would have loved that. But basically, when it comes to Stoicism, that's a very popular Western philosophy of how we can learn to respond instead of react, right? How we can learn to be more in control of how we respond to situations, and ultimately how we can not suffer so much, right? If you're a fan of Stoic philosophy, I'm with you. I appreciate Stoic philosophy until you become a parent. And then maybe I've been talking about Stoic philosophy with my son, and maybe I read books that have Stoic philosophy with my son. Maybe I've been influencing my son, and I thought it was for a really awesome way, and it probably is in the long run. But let me tell you the story, okay? So my son is 8 years old, and as all 8-year-old boys will do, he misbehaves, right? I mean, he's an 8-year-old boy. I can't help that. That's part of being an 8-year-old boy, right? It's not. If he didn't misbehave, I would really wonder, right? If you have an 8-year-old boy, of course he's going to misbehave. So he misbehaved over the weekend. It was just a really rough weekend. He was misbehaving. I mean, I'm not talking like he's going around burning neighborhood cats or, like blowing things up in the neighborhood, but he's doing mischievous things. He might have been lying a little bit. Did you really clean your room? Yeah, I cleaned my room. And then when I went to look, of course, it was still a pigsty. All the things that you would expect an 8-year-old boy to do. And then came the punishment. And so what we decided to do, my wife and I, we decided to put him to hard labor. And I always hated hard labor. So the house needed cleaning, and he got in trouble because he didn't clean his room like he was supposed to. And he said he did, but then he got busted. I mean, he got busted. Well, whenever you punish a child, the expectation is that they're going to be suffering or that they're going to be unhappy about the punishment, right? That's the expectation. When you punish a child, okay, you're okay because now you're grounded, or now because you did this thing, we're going to make you do this thing. And the thought is that they will be unhappy as they perform the task. Well, my son, the stoic, he started singing and he's like, okay, I'm going to go out. Here I go. I'm going to go out and clean actually, he was cleaning the bathtub. He was like, we we did a huge deep clean of the house for the fall. And he was all singing songs and he was all happy. And I'm like, I don't think this is not what my wife and I had in mind when we were saying, okay, let's punish this child. A child who understands Stoicism is difficult to punish. He's difficult to punish because he finds ways to enjoy his punishment. He finds ways to, son, now because you're going, we're punishing you, you've got to go outside. You're going to pull all the weeds around the house because, hey, weeds grow up around the house. You're going to have to pull all the weeds. You're going to come inside. You're going to clean the bathroom. You're going to clean the toilets. And my son is going to be singing songs. He's going to be making jokes because he is very difficult to punish. And the day before yesterday, he was in his punishment mode. We were punishing him, and we punished him with hard labor around the house. And I'll be damned if that kid enjoyed every bit of his punishment. And so what do you do? No, my joke is that we shouldn't teach our kids Stoicism because of this. But in reality, I was really deep down very proud of him. And even though I was a little frustrated because the goal was to punish him, right? The goal was, and I do hope that he learned his lesson that, hey, you're not supposed to lie, because I caught him lying about he was supposed to clean his room and he didn't clean his room. But I was really proud of him because even though he was being punished, which that was the goal. The goal is anytime you're punished to make you unhappy and to teach you a lesson, right? He was finding ways to enjoy his punishment. He was finding ways to sing and to make jokes. There would be something that was really dirty and he'd make a hilarious joke about it. So never teach your kids Stoicism because they will be impossible to punish. And in life, isn't it true that I'm very happy because I know that life is full of things that can look like punishment. Like we have so many things in life that, if you haven't experienced downtimes, just wait a little bit. They will come. There's no cure for the human experience, right? We're going to have good days. We're going to have bad days. Good things will happen. Bad things will happen. Sometimes you just have bad luck. I know some people that are they're good people and they just have had just a bad string of luck. And the difference between the ones that get through it and thrive versus the ones that just suffer beyond measure is the attitude that we bring to the situation. So I just wanted to share this little story with you guys about my son. He is a stoic. I didn't realize. So my son, of course, I'm a recovering English professor. And so I've taken it upon myself to fill in the gaps from the Common Core education. And so my son is 8 years old and he already knows the story of the Odyssey. He knows about the story of Jason and the Argonauts finding the golden fleece. We kid each other. I call him Enkidu and he calls me Gilgadad. All right. So Gilgamesh and Enkidu. So I might have influenced him. Maybe I'm just being a proud, maybe I'm just bragging. Maybe I'm just being a proud father because I feel like at that age I would have been suffering and I would not have been singing songs and I would not have been enjoying myself whilst being punished. So, cheers to you, my son in the future. If you ever see this video, cheers to you, because I'm so proud. Even as I was trying to punish you, I was so proud that you chose not to suffer. You chose to enjoy the punishment, to actually enjoy yourself. And maybe, yeah, I'm not saying that if he were, when he comes home from school today, if I say, "Hey, do you want to do the things that you did whenever you were getting punished?" He's going to say no, right? He it's not like he's, "Oh yeah, I love cleaning the toilets. I love, you know, going around the house and pulling weeds." But that day, whenever he knew that was all I'm going to be able to do, he said, "That's it. Mom and dad are going to force me to hard labor cleaning this house." He decided to sing, he decided to make jokes, he decided to dance around, he made a game out of it. So anyway, I'm just ever so impressed. Sometimes we can be impressed. Well, my friends, I just wanted to pop on here and give you this little story, and just to let you know that tomorrow we're going to be doing some fun stuff tomorrow afternoon for the release of the Language of Breath book. Again, if you haven't already ordered your copy, definitely get it. It is not just another breathwork book. It's not just, hey, here's box breathing. Hey, you have you ever heard of breathing, circular breathing and breath holds? Yes, there are lots of breathing techniques in this book, but it is more of a deep dive into what we really are as human beings and how we can use our breathing to interface with these aspects that we all tend to go through our lives completely unaware of. So I want to thank you guys for being here. Thanks if you're watching on the replay. Check it out. The Language of Breath comes out tomorrow, October 31st. If you happen to get a copy and you're dressing up for Halloween, put your picture up with you in your Halloween costume. I would love to see that. And I promise, if you do that on Instagram, I will share that to my stories, and we'll all do this together. Thanks again, guys, and I will see you tomorrow.